we are discussing critical minerals and rare earths, and we're going to be signing an agreement that's been negotiated over a period of 4 or 5 months. And it was sort of good timing that we got it done just in time for the visit. And we worked together very much on rare earths, critical minerals, and lots of other things. And we've had a very good relationship. We've been working on that for quite a while. In about a year from now, we'll have so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them.
出访白宫的澳洲总理艾班尼斯和美国总统川普才刚坐下来，没聊几句，两人就直接大笔一挥，签署一项重要的稀土协议。
We are discussing critical minerals and rare earths, and we're going to be signing an agreement that's been negotiated over a period of 4 or 5 months. And it was sort of good timing that we got it done just in time for the visit.
美澳将在未来半年内共同投入10亿美元，启动总额达85亿美元的供应链建设，高调对抗中国近期提出的稀土出口限制。这个举动难免被外界认为是川普赶在亚太经合会前要先给中国国家主席习近平下马威。
I think when we finish our meetings in South Korea, China and I will have a really fair and really great trade deal together.
川普不只对美中贸易谈判乐观，还透露他已经获邀在明年初访问中国。不过，现场记者更关心川普捍卫台湾的决心，因为5角大厦评估中共可能在2027年犯台，这恰巧也是西海岸舰队基地美国和英国潜舰轮调的年份。
Do you see AUKUS as a deterrent for China in the Indo-Pacific?
Yeah, I do. I think it is, but I don't think we're going to need it. I think we'll be just fine with China.
川普没有直接回答是否会动用武力防卫台湾，只表示美国拥有全世界最强的军力，足以吓阻中国，而且不忘重申他和习近平感情好。
I don't see that at all with President Xi. I think we're going to get along very well as it pertains to Taiwan and others. Now that doesn't mean it's not the apple of his eye, because probably it is. But I don't see anything happening.
这只是美国总统片面的想法，习近平的心思恐怕没有川普想象的那么好捉摸。三立新闻综合报道。
And we have the capacity to do so. And part of this deal is very specific: $8.5 billion pipeline. There will be $1 billion contributed from Australia and the United States over the next 6 months, with projects that are immediately available. There's 3 groups of projects. Ones that are joint activities between Australia and the United States, such as Alcoa. Secondly is projects that will be US investment that the US will undertake in Australia, including processing, and then ones that Australia will undertake, some as well. One of them is Australia, the US and Japan as well. So what we're trying to do here is to take the opportunities which are there. Australia has had a view for some time, a bit similar to putting America first.
Right.
Our plan's called A Future Made in Australia, which is about not just digging things up and exporting them, but how do we make sure that we have across the supply chains with our friends being able to benefit, seize those opportunities. So we certainly see part of what this is about isn't just digging things up. It's also about processing, including the joint ventures between Australia and the United States.
We are way ahead of China militarily, the United States. We're way ahead of them in every form of military, other than they're building a lot of ships, and we'll have that started. We'll be catching them on that. But we will, when it comes to weaponry, when it comes to, I'll go right now, AI. The big thing is AI. They're building more plants in this country than anybody ever imagined. We're going to have over $20 trillion of investment for this year. The most we ever had was a tiny fraction of that. As an example, Biden, who's the worst president in the history of our country by far, by the way, but they were less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're already now breaking $18 trillion of investment in 8 months. 18 trillion. No country in history has ever done that. We're way ahead of China in AI, and we're way ahead of China militarily from the standpoint of the sophisticated weapons. We have weapons that a lot of people don't even know about, and I got them started 4 years ago. I rebuilt the military 4 years ago, fortunately, because Biden didn't do anything but give a piece of it away to Afghanistan. Fortunately, as much as it sounded like it was a small part of what I built, But the Afghanistan giveaway was one of the worst. That was probably the most embarrassing day in the period in the history of our country. But we have the greatest military. We have the best equipment. We have the best manufacturers of equipment. We have the best weapons. When you look at our weapons, I've been talking a lot about our weapons. Everybody wants our weapons. But it's great to be working with Anthony. It's great to be working with the people of Australia because they also, I mean, it's a smaller country, but you have done a fantastic job in weaponry and the kind of things that we do a lot of joint work together. Our militaries work very, very closely together. We've been really an amazing ally when you think of it, right? There's never been any games. We're strongly committed, and they're strongly committed. There are some games with other countries, but there haven't been games with Australia. We have a tremendous power, and that's the power of tariff. And I think that China will come to the table and make a very fair deal, because if they don't, they're going to be paying us 157% in tariffs. Right now, they're paying 55 to 57%. When I was first president and first term, we had the greatest economy we've ever had. And as you know, people don't write too much about it, but China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars worth of money for tariffs. Biden left it, but he didn't enforce it. He gave exceptions to almost everything. And so he left the tariffs, but he didn't really collect the numbers that he should have collected, and because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. So now the tariffs are much higher in China than they were before, and they're high on other countries depending on whether or not we like that country or we get along, and that's for national security purposes. So I made deals with Japan, I made deals with the European Union, or the whole of Europe practically, but the European Union, made deals with a lot of different people. We have a very fair deal for, I will say, Australia's paying a low number. They do have, I'll change it, we have a little bit of an advantage in that one. I told you, the advantage we have is airplanes. We sell a lot of airplanes to them, and they need them. It's a very vibrant place, and people go in and out, and I look forward to going there myself. And I think it's unlikely I'll be taking a ship. That's a long
journey.
That's a long journey. But China has treated us with great respect. Now, in the past, they didn't treat other presidents with great respect. They would take hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars out of the country, and they would spend it and build their military. Now they're treating us with great respect. Now, we'll see what happens. I said, if we don't make a deal, I'm putting on an additional 100% on November 1st. I think we'll make a deal. They threatened us with rare earths, and I threatened them with tariffs, but I could also threaten them with many other things, like airplanes. You know about airplanes, because they can't get parts for their airplanes. We build their airplanes. We do a great job. They're largely Boeings, and we could stop the parts. We did stop the parts, actually, when they did the initial threat. That's a big... They closed down over 400 of their airplanes, but we don't want to do that. But we have a much simpler thing. If we don't make a deal, we'll charge them a very substantial tariff, and they'll be paying us hundreds of billions of dollars a year, which they're basically paying right now. We had presidents that allowed China and other countries get away with murder. We're not going to allow that, but we're going to have a fair deal. I want to be good to China. I love my relationship with President Xi. We have a great relationship.